In the quiet moments before dawn, have you ever felt the weight of your own heart? A gentle longing for peace, for acceptance, for love, directed not at the world, but at yourself. In a world racing around us, self-love can feel like a radical, almost poetic act. It's in those hushed whispers of dawn and the heavy sighs of midnight that we most yearn to treat ourselves kindly. But how? Why should you stay till the end of this journey? Because the wisdom of ancient Stoics and the practices of mindfulness hold answers, 12 gentle yet powerful principles, and the final lesson ties them all together in a life-changing way. The Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus spent a lifetime learning how to live and love wisely. Their words have echoed across 2 millennia, soothing troubled minds and steeling wavering hearts. Each of the 12 principles we'll explore is a lesson in self-love drawn from Stoic and mindful wisdom, illustrated with modern reflections. We'll marry timeless quotes with everyday examples, from emperors in marble halls to individuals like you and me navigating daily life. And we'll do it in an emotionally engaging, rhythmic tone, with short, flowing paragraphs and questions that gently provoke reflection. Ready to begin this stoic and mindful journey into self-love? Let's embark. And remember, the 12th lesson is a must-watch, a profound reminder that will empower you to see yourself in a whole new light by the end. 1. Focus on what you can control and release what you can't. What if one simple insight could lift a great burden off your shoulders? The Stoics believed it could. They teach us that much of our suffering comes from grasping at things beyond our control. Epictetus opens his Enchiridion with a powerful truth. Some things are in our control and others not. The things we can control, he says, are our own opinions, aims, desires, our own actions. Everything else, other people's choices, the weather, the past, the inevitable tides of fate, are ultimately not up to us. Consider how liberating that is. Can you stop the rain from falling on your picnic? Control a global pandemic or the economy? Of course not. But you can control how you respond with grace, patience, ingenuity. Imagine a friend loses their job because the company is downsizing. At first, she spirals into self-doubt and anxiety, but then she remembers this Stoic principle. Instead of clinging to the false idea that she should have prevented the layoff, she focuses on what is within her power, updating her resume, reaching out to contacts, budgeting carefully, and maintaining a positive routine to support her mental health. She can't change the past, but she can shape her next steps. She refuses to see herself as a victim of fortune's whims. In doing so, she practices self-love by not punishing herself for what was never hers to control. Even Epictetus himself lived this lesson. Born a slave and later crippled by a broken leg, he had no control over those hardships. What he could control was his mindset and actions, and he became a great philosopher, proving that our response matters more than our circumstances. Think about your own life. Which worries could you release if you truly accepted they aren't yours to command? As Marcus Aurelius observed, we often care more about others' opinions than our own, something also outside our control. What if, instead, you turned that energy inward, focusing on being true to yourself? Accept that you can't control the waves, only how you steer your ship. This gentle act of surrender is powerful self-love. It frees you from unnecessary suffering and lets you invest in what you can change, your own attitude, effort, and character. Why carry the weight of the world when you were only meant to carry yourself? 2. Speak to yourself with kindness, the gift of self-compassion. How do you talk to yourself when you make a mistake or fall short of a goal? Most of us are far harsher on ourselves than we'd ever be on a friend. We grit our teeth and fling silent criticisms inward. How could I be so stupid? I always mess up. But pause and ask, is that the way to love someone who's hurting or trying? Wouldn't a true friend say, it's okay, you did your best? What can you learn and try again? One of the gentlest yet most powerful ways to practice self-love is to become that kind, encouraging friend to yourself. Modern psychologists like Dr. Kristin Neff remind us that self-compassion, treating yourself with the same empathy you'd offer to a loved one, can dramatically reduce anxiety and build resilience. But this isn't just modern feel-good talk. The roots of this wisdom run deep. Even Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius, often seen as stern, wrote about the importance of accepting help and being humble with oneself. Do not be ashamed of needing help. You have a duty to accept it when it is offered, he advised. To Marcus, asking for or accepting help was not a weakness, but a practical and natural part of being human. In other words, don't beat yourself up for not being invincible. Love yourself enough to seek support, to forgive your own missteps, to acknowledge you're human. Picture a child learning to ride a bike. After a tumble, tears well up. What does the caring adult do? They don't scold, they soothe. I know it hurts. You can try again when you're ready. I'm proud of you for being brave. That child is far more likely to get back on the bike with that gentle encouragement. Now imagine offering yourself a similar solace the next time you stumble in life. When you miss a deadline or say something you regret, try pausing. Take a deep breath. Maybe even place a hand on your heart to ground yourself physically. Then speak inwardly, as if to that little child. It's all right. You're learning. What can we do to make this better? Far from indulgence, this is strength. It takes courage to respond to our own flaws with understanding instead of fury. But in doing so, you create an inner environment where growth replaces shame. Your mind becomes a safe home for you rather than a war zone. Rhetorical question: if you don't show yourself kindness, who will do it for you? Self-compassion is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. Embrace it and watch your capacity for love, for self and others, grow. 3. Carve out time to reflect, journaling as self-love in practice. Every evening, the philosopher Seneca would engage in a beautiful ritual. When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, he wrote, I examine my entire day and go back over what I've done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. In the stillness of night, he would replay the day's events, celebrating his little wins, acknowledging his mistakes without judgment, and learning from them. This practice of reflection, whether through journaling, meditation, or quiet contemplation, is an act of profound self-love. Why? Because it means you care enough about yourself to understand yourself. You're giving your mind space to breathe and your soul a chance to speak. Think of your day as a painting you create stroke by stroke. Reflection allows you to step back and really look at the canvas. Which colors did you splash on today? Joyful yellows of laughter, deep blues of sorrow, bursts of red frustration. By observing, you become aware. And with awareness comes growth. Maybe you notice how anxious that morning meeting made you, and in journaling you realize it reminded you of a past fear. By writing it out, you've treated yourself to empathy. Ah, that's why I felt that way. It's okay. Perhaps you list 3 things you're grateful for, and suddenly your day seems brighter in retrospect. Or you spot a moment you weren't proud of, snapping at a loved one, and gently resolve to apologize tomorrow. This isn't about self-criticism, it's about self-discovery and gentle correction. As the Stoics would advise, you're aligning with your values a bit more each day. Modern examples abound. Many people, from CEOs to artists to students, keep a daily journal or a nightly reflection habit. Why? Because it's like a personal therapist on paper, a place to pour out worries, celebrate progress, and set intentions. When you reflect, you honor your experiences instead of brushing them under the rug. You're saying, my life matters, my thoughts and feelings matter. Marcus Aurelius's own Meditations was essentially a private journal to himself, never meant for publication. In those pages, we see a powerful man giving himself pep talks, chastising his own ego, and finding solace in philosophy. If an emperor could take time to journal in his war tent under the stars, surely we can take 10 minutes with a notebook in bed. Short on time, even asking yourself one question each day. What did I do well? What can I improve tomorrow? Can work wonders. Reflection is the mirror by which you lovingly acknowledge yourself. So tonight, light a candle or dim the lights, grab pen and paper, and let your thoughts flow. It's one of the kindest gifts you can give to the person you spend every second of your life with, yourself. 4. Practice gratitude for the small and the big. Celebrate your life. When was the last time you paused to appreciate something as simple as the comfort of your bed or the taste of your morning coffee? In our pursuit of improvement, we often forget to love what already is. Gratitude is a gentle form of self-love that shifts our focus from what's missing to what's present. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus, for instance, observed, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Instead of lamenting what we lack, wisdom and happiness lies in cherishing what we have. It sounds simple, almost cliché, but it is profoundly powerful. Gratitude is the antidote to the endless cycle of dissatisfaction. Consider a quick experiment. Close your eyes and think of 3 things in your life that you're grateful for right now. They don't have to be grand. It could be, "I'm alive and breathing," "I have a friend who texted me today," or "I enjoyed a good meal for lunch." As you bring each to mind, notice how you feel. A slight softening of the heart, a gentle smile. That's the warmth of self-love taking root. By acknowledging the goodness already in your life, you affirm that you deserve good things. You deserve care and happiness. You are literally training your mind to seek the light instead of dwelling in darkness. Even in adversity, gratitude can shine through like a beacon. Many survivors of difficult times, illness, loss, hardship, will say that what kept them going was finding one thing each day to be thankful for. It might be the kindness of a nurse, a lesson learned from a failure, or simply the sunrise out the window. The Stoics practiced a form of this through negative visualization. They would imagine losing something they loved in order to appreciate it more intensely now. Seneca advised, "Think of your friends or family, how you would feel if they were gone, then cherish them as they are here." Not to be morbid, but to jolt us into valuing our blessings. On a modern note, the popularity of gratitude journals isn't just a fad. Research shows that writing down a few grateful thoughts each day boosts mood, improves sleep, even strengthens relationships. Oprah Winfrey famously kept a gratitude journal for years, crediting it as a key to her resilience and joy. But you don't need Oprah's life to benefit. You only need your life. Start with noticing one small blessing in the present moment. Right now, as you read this, maybe you're grateful for the device in your hands that connects you to a world of ideas, or for the very fact that you're taking time to nurture your mind and heart with these words. That's something to appreciate about you. The more you practice gratitude, the more you love the life in you. As Epictetus implies, the wise find richness in what they have. In giving thanks, you're really saying, "My life is valuable." And isn't that the essence of self-love? 5. Embrace imperfections and learn from mistakes. Wabi-Sabi your life. Close your eyes and picture a beautiful piece of pottery, a deep blue bowl with gleaming veins of gold running through its cracked surface. That bowl is an example of kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with lacquer mixed with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, kintsugi highlights them, making them part of the object's story and beauty. What if you approached your own flaws and mistakes in the same way? Rather than viewing imperfections as ugly marks to conceal, see them as gilded lessons that add to your uniqueness. A blue ceramic bowl mended with gold, kintsugi. Its once broken cracks are now highlighted in gold, more beautiful for having been broken. Life will drop us, shatter us in places. That's inevitable. We all have scars, whether on our skin or in our hearts. Embracing imperfection means loving yourself not in spite of your scars, but because of them. It's realizing that each crack in your life's bowl has been filled with gold, experience, growth, resilience, and now you shine even brighter. The Stoics, in their own way, taught a similar idea. They prized the concept of amor fati, or love of fate, which is embracing everything that happens to you, the good and the bad, as necessary parts of your story. Marcus Aurelius put it simply: accept the things to which fate binds you and love them. He even argued that a fig or branch or animal, whatever nature throws your way, has something beautiful in it, meaning every event, even our mistakes or misfortunes, can be met with acceptance and turned to purpose. Think of a time you made a mistake that actually taught you a crucial lesson. Perhaps you trusted the wrong person and felt betrayed. Painful, yes, but it taught you the value of healthy boundaries and the importance of discernment, a gold-filled crack. Or maybe you failed spectacularly at a project, only to discover a new path or skill because of that failure. One famous example, Thomas Edison and the light bulb. He famously said, "I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each failure was a step towards success, each crack in the plan filled with the gold of insight. Now, we're not all inventors, but the mindset is universal. Embracing imperfections also means letting go of the toxic quest to be perfect in the eyes of others. Social media, for instance, bombards us with images of seemingly perfect lives and bodies. But as the saying goes, don't compare your behind the scenes with everyone else's highlight reel. The people you idolize have their unseen cracks too. And ironically, it's often someone's vulnerabilities that endear them to us most. A singer's voice that breaks with emotion, a public speaker who laughs at their own nervous hiccup. These moments of imperfection radiate authenticity. Likewise, showing yourself patience and humor over your own quirks makes you more authentic to yourself. Instead of harshly saying, "I'm broken, I'm inadequate," try saying, "I'm healing, I'm growing." See how the energy shifts from shame to hope. Ask yourself, would you really want to be a flawless, untouched porcelain doll? Or do you prefer to be a well-loved, cracked but beautiful piece of art with stories to tell? Your imperfections give you character. Embrace them, learn from them, and wear them like gold. In doing so, you practice self-love of the deepest kind, unconditional love. You love yourself as is, while still evolving. Remember, every scar is a story, and every story, happy or sad, enriches the masterpiece that is you. 6. Set boundaries and protect your peace. Saying no is self-care. Imagine you have a small garden that you tend. If you never put up a fence or gently ask the over-eager neighbor kids not to trample the flower beds, that garden would soon be destroyed despite your care. In the same way, your inner peace is a garden, and boundaries are the fences and signs that say, "Please tread gently. This space is important." Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is an essential form of self-respect and love. You are telling yourself and others that your well-being matters. The Stoics understood the need to guard the mind against outside harm. Epictetus gave a vivid example. If a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious, yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along. Have you no shame in that? We let others' opinions, demands, and dramas invade our mental space all the time, often at the cost of our own sanity. Epictetus's point is clear. Protect your mind as you would your physical self. This might mean saying no to taking on an extra project when you're already stretched thin. It might mean distancing yourself, with compassion, from a friend who constantly drains you with negativity. It could mean carving out 30 minutes of you time each day that is non-negotiable, phone off, door closed, doing whatever recharges you. These acts are not selfish, they are sacred. Consider the high-profile example of Simone Biles, one of the greatest gymnasts of all time. In the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, the world expected her to push through and win golds. Instead, Simone shockingly withdrew from the team and all-around finals to focus on her mental well-being. She felt a bout of disorientation, the twisties, and knew that continuing under immense pressure could lead to injury or worse. By saying no to competing, she said yes to self-care. She protected both her body and mind. Some criticized her, but many applauded her courage. Simone's decision sent a powerful message. No achievement is worth sacrificing your health or peace. That is Stoic wisdom in action, valuing the only thing truly yours, your mind and moral choice, over external validation. On a more everyday level, think of a time you agreed to something just because you didn't want to disappoint someone. Perhaps taking on extra work, attending an event you were too exhausted for, or lending money you really couldn't spare. How did you feel afterwards? If the result was resentment, burnout, or anxiety, that's a sign your boundary was crossed. Now imagine an alternate scenario where you lovingly but firmly said, "I'd love to help, but I can't this time," or "I need some time for myself this weekend." Initially, it might feel uncomfortable. We all want to be liked and helpful. But ultimately, honoring your limits will earn you deeper self-respect and teach others to respect you too. Setting boundaries can be as simple as turning off work emails after 7 p.m. to preserve family or personal time. It can be telling a friend, "I care about you, but I'm not in the emotional space to talk about this issue tonight. Can we chat tomorrow?" It can be limiting your exposure to news or social media if you notice it's affecting your mood. You are allowed to create a life where your yes truly means yes, and your no truly means no, where your choices come from intent, not obligation. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Boundaries ensure you aren't emptying yourself out for others at your own expense. By protecting your peace, you're preserving the best, loving version of you, which in turn is what you'll have to offer the world. So draw that gentle fence. Say no when you need to. Your inner garden will flourish for it. 7. Be fully present. Gentle mindfulness in everyday moments. Right here, right now, this moment is your life. Not yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries, but now. Yet how often do we drift away from the present, caught in replaying past scenes or rehearsing future dramas? Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present, is one of the greatest gifts of self-love you can give yourself. When you anchor in the now, you free yourself from the weight of what was and the fear of what might be. You allow yourself to just be, and in that being you often find a serene kind of contentment. The Stoics advocated for presence long before mindfulness became a popular term. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself to live in the present. "Confine yourself to the present," he wrote bluntly. Why? Because he knew that our power to live, to act, to feel, only ever exists in the current moment. Dwelling on a past mistake doesn't change it. Remember, if it's outside your control now, let it go. And anxiously anticipating the future only robs today of its strength. Seneca echoed this. True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence on the future. Even 2,000 years ago, people struggled with living in the now, and even then the wise knew the answer. Bring your attention gently back to what is, here, now. Try a little mindful exercise as you read on. Take a slow, deep breath and really feel it, the cool air entering your nostrils, the expansion of your chest, then the soft release. For those few seconds, you were completely present, simply existing. Did you notice how your worries paused, how you felt a sliver of peace? That's the power of presence. You don't have to sit cross-legged on a cushion for hours, though you can. You can weave mindfulness into ordinary life. When you eat, just eat. Savor the flavors and textures of your food instead of scrolling on your phone. When someone is speaking to you, really listen. Give them the gift of your full attention, and give yourself the gift of engaging deeply with another human. When you step outside, take one moment to feel the sunshine or the wind on your face, to notice the color of the sky. These small acts ground you in reality, which is often far less scary than the distorted movies our anxious minds play. A poignant modern example of choosing presence is the story of a man who, after years of overwork, made a rule. Every evening when he returned home from work, he would pause at his front door, take a deep breath, and consciously set aside the day's stress before stepping in to greet his family. That moment of mindfulness allowed him to truly be present with his children and spouse, rather than physically there but mentally still at the office. His relationships blossomed. He felt more joy at home, all because he chose to show up in the present. Ask yourself, how much of my life am I actually living firsthand versus living in my head? The past is a memory, the future, a dream. Life is always happening right now. The more you practice dipping into the now, even if it's as mundane as feeling the warmth of the water while washing dishes, the more you train your brain to come home to this moment. And in this moment, you are okay. In this moment, you have the capacity to feel calm, to notice beauty, to act with intention. Mindfulness is gentle because it requires no force, just a surrender to what is. And it's powerful because it can transform an ordinary Tuesday into a series of tiny miracles. The laughter of a child, the aroma of coffee, the comfort of a chair. So give yourself this love, the gift of your own attention. As you confine yourself to the present, you may find that the present moment contains a vast and healing peace you've been seeking all along. 8. Live with integrity. Honor your values and your word. There is a certain kind of peace that washes over you when you know you are living true to yourself. It's like standing on solid ground, unshaken by the winds of public opinion or the tides of trend. Integrity, aligning your actions with your values, is a profound form of self-love because it builds self-trust. When you consistently act according to your principles, you show yourself that you are someone worth respecting. You become a person you can rely on, and thus you naturally grow in self-esteem. The Stoics placed supreme importance on virtue and integrity. Marcus Aurelius urged himself, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, stop theorizing about what it means to be honorable or kind or just, and simply embody those qualities. Every time you choose to do the right thing, especially when no one is watching, you are practicing self-love at the highest level. Why? Because you're affirming to your own conscience that your moral well-being matters. You're saying, "I won't sell out my values for quick comfort or approval, because I care about the kind of person I am deep down." That is self-respect, plain and simple. Let's bring this to a concrete scenario. Suppose honesty is a value you hold. You're at work, and you notice a colleague forgot to log a small error that no one else caught. It would be easy to ignore it. After all, pointing it out might cause extra hassle or make your colleague look bad. But integrity nudges you. Correct the mistake. You do so discreetly and kindly. It might go entirely unnoticed by your boss or the world, but you know you did the ethically right thing. Rather than feeling like a nuisance, you actually feel a quiet pride. That night you sleep a little easier because you aren't wrestling with a guilty conscience or a tangled web of justifications. You were true to you. On the flip side, think of times when you acted against your own values, perhaps laughing along at a cruel joke to fit in, or staying silent when you witnessed wrongdoing. How did you feel inside afterward? Likely a bit unsettled, disappointed, or small. When we betray our own values, we chip away at our self-worth. It's like telling ourselves, "My principles don't really matter." Over time, that can erode self-love deeply. The Stoic hero is someone who would rather suffer externally than compromise their character. While we may not face life or death moral tests daily, we face smaller ones regularly. Do I gossip or hold my tongue? Do I deliver what I promised, even if it's hard? Do I stand up for someone being treated unfairly? Living with integrity also means knowing your personal values and honoring them in the life choices you make. If family is a core value, integrity might mean not taking a job that pays more, but demands you never see your kids. If creativity is a value, it might mean carving out time to paint on weekends despite your busy schedule, because that's staying true to what makes your soul sing. When your outer life and inner values align, you experience a state of harmony. There's less inner conflict, less regret. You can look in the mirror and, like the Stoics, meet your own eyes with confidence and calm. As a practical tip, you might list your top 3 to 5 values, such as honesty, kindness, health, learning, etc., and ask each day, did I live out these values today? If yes, celebrate that. If not, rather than self-criticism, use it as guidance for tomorrow. Marcus's quote reminds us not to get stuck in debating what's right. We usually know it in our gut, but to act. And each action is a vote for the kind of person you want to be. By living with integrity, you accumulate an inner wealth that no external failure or success can take away. You become someone you love, because you are acting out of love for what you know is good. And that makes your inner light shine a little brighter for you and for everyone around you. 9. Release comparisons and embrace your path. You are enough. Have you ever scrolled through social media or walked into a reunion and felt that sinking feeling of not measuring up? It's almost a reflex. We see someone else's highlight reel, their career, looks, relationship, achievements, and suddenly our own life seems paler. But comparisons are a thief of joy and a sure way to undermine self-love. The truth is, you are not in competition with anyone. Your journey is uniquely yours, and someone else's success or beauty or luck does not diminish your own. In fact, the Stoics would argue that envy is irrational because you never truly know if what others have is as great as it appears, nor do you know the price they paid to get it. Marcus Aurelius, baffled by our tendency to devalue ourselves, noted, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. We invert our priorities, craving others' approval while neglecting to approve of ourselves." Consider this. You're the author of a book, and that book is your life. Would you abandon writing your own chapters just to read someone else's ending? It sounds absurd, yet that's what we do when we constantly compare. We lose precious time and energy that could be spent on our growth, our passions, our loved ones, because we're busy peeking over the fence at the neighbors. Social media intensifies this, presenting curated moments that often mask reality. The friend with the perfect marriage might be struggling in private. The entrepreneur flashing success might be deep in debt. The traveler posting idyllic beach photos might feel painfully lonely. The Stoic approach would be to remember that appearances are just that, appearances. Epictetus taught that external things, like wealth, status, beauty, are not good or bad in themselves. What matters is how we use them and who we are. A modern example. There was a popular Instagram influencer who a few years ago made headlines by quitting the platform, revealing that her seemingly carefree, picture-perfect life was orchestrated for likes and actually filled with anxiety. She confessed that constant comparison on social media, even as one of the ideal people, was making her miserable. She found peace only when she stepped back and focused on real connections and her mental health. This shows that even those who win the comparison game feel its emptiness. So why play at all? Instead of comparing, practice celebration and refocusing. If a peer achieves something, allow yourself to feel happy for them. It doesn't take away from your worth. Then gently bring the focus back to you. What are you proud of in your life lately? What's one way you have grown in the past year? Maybe you've become a more patient parent, or overcame a personal fear, or simply kept going through a tough time. Those are victories no one else may applaud, but you can. When you catch yourself thinking, "She's better at X than me," reframe it. "She's good at X, and I'm good at Y." Or even, "Her success at X shows me it's possible, and I can learn from it if I want." Use others as inspiration, not as a yardstick to beat yourself with. Remember too that life is not a race. Each of us moves at our own pace. Some find their path early, others later. Some bloom in spring, others in autumn. The ancient Stoics had a concept of sympatheia, an understanding that we are all part of the same whole, each with our role to play. A rose and an oak tree don't envy each other, they simply flourish in their own time. Likewise, your only true competition is the person you were yesterday. If you must compare, compare that. Have you grown kinder, wiser, more resilient? That's a comparison that can actually fuel self-love, because it's rooted in compassion for yourself and realistic progress. So the next time you feel that comparison monster lurking, pause, take a breath, remind yourself, I am not them, and that's okay. My journey is mine. I will value my own opinion of myself over any stranger's fleeting approval. I will strive to be my best, not the best, for there will always be greater or lesser in some outward way. Let go of the ranking mentality. Life is not a podium finish. It's a rich tapestry where each thread, each person has its place. Cherish your distinct color and weave. No one else can be you, with all your particular mix of talents, flaws, and dreams. And that, dear reader, is your superpower. 10. Be patient with yourself. Growth takes time. Nurture it. Think of a tiny seed planted in soil. You wouldn't yell at it to hurry up and become a tall tree, would you? You know it needs sunshine, water, and time to grow. And if you dug it up every day to check its progress, you'd only hinder it. Yet, how often do we impatiently demand rapid growth from ourselves? We try a new habit or begin healing from a trauma or start learning a skill, and when we don't see immediate results, we get frustrated or discouraged. Patience, especially with our own journey, is a form of self-love that acknowledges we are works in progress. It's an understanding that all worthwhile growth is gradual. The Stoic teacher Epictetus gently reminds us, no great thing is created suddenly, any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. How beautifully does that quote paint the natural stages of growth? First the blossom, then the fruit, then the ripening. In our lives, blooming might correspond to those first signs of change, the excitement of starting therapy, or the initial weight loss on a fitness journey, or the honeymoon phase of learning a new instrument when it's all fun. But then comes the slow fruit-bearing stage, continuing the work even when it gets routine or hard, when plateaus hit or motivation dips. Finally, with sustained care comes the ripening, the results, the mastery, the healing. This process cannot be bypassed. Rushing it often spoils the outcome, like a fruit picked too early. Knowing this, we can replace self-pressure with self-compassionate perseverance. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Today she's celebrated, but her journey to success was one of patience and resilience. She was rejected by 12 publishers over the course of a full year before one took a chance on her manuscript. During that time, it would have been easy for her to think, maybe I'm just not good enough. But she kept refining her work and sending it out. She allowed time and persistence to work their magic. Or think of someone recovering from an injury who has to do tedious physical therapy exercises for months. Progress might seem invisible week to week, but then one day they realize they can move freely again. Every tiny effort was adding up quietly. On a more personal level, perhaps you're trying to overcome a bad habit or establish a good one. Let's say you want to meditate daily, but after a week of enthusiasm, you miss 2 days and feel like a failure. Patience steps in to say, it's okay. Growth isn't linear. Tomorrow is a new day. Start again. Or you're learning to be less reactive in your relationships. You still occasionally slip and argue, but compared to last year, you notice you recover faster and apologize sooner. That's progress. Give yourself credit for it. Epictetus would smile at that and say, see, the fig is beginning to swell. Don't lose heart now. We must also be patient with the process of healing. If you've experienced loss or hardship, healing often comes in cycles, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There might be days you feel you've moved on, and days where grief is as raw as ever. Self-love in these moments is allowing those feelings without judgment, trusting that time is a healer, and you cannot rush what must unfold organically. Just as a cut takes time to scab over and then fade, emotional wounds also mend gradually. So, replace the harsh inner drill sergeant with a gentle gardener. Water your goals and aspirations daily with effort and kindness, but don't stand over them with a stopwatch. Celebrate small milestones. The sapling stage counts as much as the full bloom. And when you stumble or regress, treat yourself as you would a child learning to walk. with encouragement. Up you go, try again, you're getting there. Keep Epictetus's image in mind. You wouldn't demand a fig before its season. Your season will come in due time. Patience isn't passive, it's actively trusting the flow of growth. In practicing patience with yourself, you cultivate an environment where your authentic self can develop at its own pace, and that is one of the most loving things you can do. 11. Remember, this too shall pass. Embrace impermanence to cherish life. On a clear night, Marcus Aurelius would sometimes step outside his tent. He often wrote his meditations during military campaigns and gaze up at the stars. He would remind himself how small and fleeting human life is compared to the vast cosmos. Far from depressing him, this gave him perspective and peace. The Stoics were keenly aware of impermanence, the fact that everything, good or bad, eventually passes. Rather than making them nihilistic, it made them value each moment and focus on what truly matters. In one of his most famous passages, Marcus writes to himself, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." This isn't a morbid admonition, but a gentle shake. Life is precious because it's finite, so don't waste a second living in hate or pettiness or self-neglect. Love yourself and others now wholeheartedly, because now is all we ever have. Embracing impermanence is actually a deeply loving practice, strangely enough. When you accept that all things change and that time moves in one direction, you are less inclined to cling to pain or hold on to grudges. You realize that today's heartbreak or failure will eventually soften with time, so you can endure it, and you can also refrain from enlarging it with unnecessary worry. It means, if you're in a dark place, you can lovingly tell yourself, "This suffering isn't forever. I will survive." Conversely, when you're in a beautiful moment, impermanence whispers, "Treasure this. Be present, for it will not last forever in this exact form." That awareness amplifies joy. Think about the parent who knows their child will only be little for a short few years. That knowledge helps them savor the bedtime stories and goofy games, even on tired days. Or the fact that a sunset only lasts minutes is what makes people stop and bask in it. If the sunset lasted all day, would we notice its beauty as much? A modern perspective. Steve Jobs, who was deeply influenced by Buddhist and Stoic thought, once said that remembering he would die soon was the most important tool he ever encountered to help him make big choices. Why? Because almost everything, others' expectations, fear of embarrassment, pride, falls away in the face of mortality, leaving only what is truly meaningful. When he was diagnosed with cancer, this mindset became even more poignant. He realized that each day alive was an immense gift, not to be squandered. Many people who have near-death experiences or serious illnesses report a similar shift. Suddenly, the color of the sky, the taste of food, the presence of loved ones, all become infinitely precious. They start truly living, often simplifying their life to focus on what they love. Now, you don't need a brush with death to awaken this perspective, and indeed, let's not wish for that. We can cultivate it in small ways. The next time you are with someone you love, silently acknowledge, "I won't have infinite moments like this. Let me be here now." Or when you look in the mirror, realize that the face you see will one day be older, and one day will be gone. And let that inspire you to treat yourself kindly today, to not postpone self-care or self-appreciation. You might even adopt a simple Stoic practice. Each morning, remind yourself that life is temporary and resolve to make the day count. Each evening, wrap up the day as if it were your last, with gratitude. Seneca believed that the person who can say, "I have lived each night, ready for whatever comes," will wake each morning with a bonus of joy. Impermanence also teaches letting go. If someone hurt you in the past, consider that life is short. Is holding on to anger worth the space in your heart? If you've been stuck in regret, remember you cannot change yesterday, only learn from it, and its memory too will fade. Let it go. Forgive yourself. all flows onward. This isn't to say we become detached robots. Rather, we love fully, but with wisdom. Khalil Gibran wrote, "Love like a passing bird. You cannot cage it without killing it." We hold life's gifts lightly, knowing they aren't ours to possess forever. Strangely, this makes our love purer and our grief, when loss inevitably comes, more healing, because we understand it's part of the human experience to have things transform and leave. In a nutshell, memento mori, remember you will die, is not a morbid mantra, but a call to live and love right now. It puts petty worries into perspective and elevates the importance of self-love. You realize there's no sense in hating yourself or denying yourself happiness for later. Later is not guaranteed. So choose to be gentle with yourself now, to pursue what lights you up now, to tell the people you care about that you love them now. Each moment you do this, you honor the fleeting, wondrous life within you, and when the winds of change inevitably blow, you can smile through tears and say, "This too shall pass, and I have loved through it all." 12. Self-love is a practice, not a destination. Keep walking the path. By now, it's clear that self-love isn't a one-time achievement or a switch you flip. It's not a place you finally arrive at and then you're set for life. Rather, self-love is a practice, a continual, gentle journey of coming home to yourself. There will be days you feel overflowing with confidence and peace, and days you don't. There will be times you forget every principle on this list, and times you embody them with ease. And that's okay. What matters is that you keep coming back to the path. As Seneca wisely put it, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. We are all students of life, and every single day is an opportunity to deepen the love and wisdom with which we approach ourselves and the world. Think of self-love like tending a fire. You don't light it once and expect it to burn eternally without attention. You add logs, adjust the kindling, ensure it's not smothered. Some days it might blaze, other days it's just warm embers and needs a little fanning. But you don't blame the fire for that. You understand it's natural. Similarly, don't blame yourself when you have a hard time loving yourself. Instead, ask gently, what do I need right now to nurture my flame? Perhaps you need rest, or to revisit one of these principles, or to seek support from a friend or therapist. Sometimes practicing self-love means accepting that you're struggling and giving yourself permission to be human. One of the most powerful things about Stoic and mindful wisdom is that it's practical. These aren't just lofty ideals, they're meant to be lived. Stoics would reflect each morning on their principles and each night on how they did, not to judge, but to stay on course. You might adopt a similar ritual. Every morning, choose one of these 12 ways to focus on for the day. Maybe today you practice gratitude, tomorrow patience, the next day boundaries. In the evening, gently review. How did I show myself love today? What can I try differently tomorrow? This creates a loving feedback loop with yourself. Another aspect of practice is patience, as we discussed in Lesson 10. You might recall how Epictetus urged us to give time for a fig to ripen. Likewise, give yourself time to grow in self-love. If negative self-talk or self-neglect have been habits for years, it won't reverse overnight. But each small step counts. Each time you catch a self-critical thought and soften it, "I'm so dumb" becomes, "I made a mistake, but I'm learning." You lay another brick in the foundation of love. Each time you enforce a boundary, or take a mindful breath, or choose integrity over comfort, you reinforce to yourself that you are worthy and on the right track. Crucially, realize that self-love practice is not selfish or isolated. The more you build a loving relationship with yourself, the more love you have to give others. It spills over. A person at peace with themselves naturally radiates patience, kindness, and understanding to those around them. They are less likely to project their insecurities or become reactive. By tending to your own garden, you end up providing shade and flowers to those nearby as well. It's a beautiful paradox. The more you fill your cup, the more you can overflow to quench others' thirst. So never feel guilt for taking this journey. It's one of the best things you can do for the world, too. In closing, remember that self-love will sometimes feel like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's still progress. The Stoic sage in training doesn't lament when they falter. They simply start anew. Marcus Aurelius advised himself, if jarred from your path, return to it as soon as possible. Don't waste time in shame. Just come back to the practice. Your life is your clay, and each day you shape it a little more in line with love, compassion, and wisdom. There's no final exam, no perfect score, just the art of living which you refine over a lifetime. So be gentle with yourself on this journey. Celebrate the good days, learn from the tough ones, and keep going. As long as you're alive, the opportunity for growth and greater self-love is there. Embrace it with a full heart. Self-love is a practice, not a destination, a lifelong friendship with yourself. Keep tending that friendship, and it will reward you with a life of inner richness and peace. You've traveled through 12 gentle yet powerful ways to practice self-love, guided by Stoic and mindful wisdom. From focusing on what you can control, to speaking kindly to yourself, to living with integrity and embracing the present. These aren't just tips, but daily practices that can soothe your soul and strengthen your spirit. Remember, each principle is a thread in the tapestry of a well-lived life. Woven together, they form a philosophy of compassionate resilience. But knowledge becomes transformation only when applied. So I encourage you, choose one of these principles to practice today, even right after this video ends. Maybe you'll jot down 3 gratitudes, or set a boundary you've been avoiding, or take 5 mindful breaths when you close your device. Most importantly, remember that self-love is indeed a practice, a journey, not a fixed state. Be patient and persistent, and don't walk it alone. Join our community here at Be Stoic. Subscribe to the channel for more wisdom-packed videos that nourish your mind and uplift your heart. We're on this path together, learning from ancient sages and modern stories, supporting each other as we grow. If you found value in this journey, give the video a thumbs up and share your thoughts or which lesson resonated most in the comments. I'd love to hear your insights and experiences. And feel free to rewatch or bookmark this video whenever you need a gentle reminder of your own worth. Thank you for staying till the end. That shows your dedication to your well-being. Keep practicing these gentle yet powerful ways to love yourself. With each small step, you're not only improving your own life, but also becoming a beacon of stoic calm and mindful love in a chaotic world. Until next time, be stoic, be mindful, and most of all, be kind to yourself. You deserve it. Go forward and love yourself, not as a destination to reach, but as a daily journey to savor. And let's continue this journey together. Subscribe and join me in the next video for more Stoic wisdom for everyday life. Take care and remember, the practice of self-love is the practice of living well. You've got this.